Hey everyone, this is your fantasy football commissioner here with the Week 6 recap and preview of Week 7 in the ForrestLand MishMash Fantasy Football League. Like I mentioned last week, the game of the week did turn out to be the Catonsville Cartel versus the Virginia Vikings. Before I get to the game, I do want to humbly apologize for mispronouncing the Cartel's city name all year. First, I was calling it the Cantonville Cartel. And then I remembered thinking I was really smart and added the S and made it the Cantonsville Cartel. But lo and behold, I totally forgot that there's no N in the name. So not only is it not the Cantonville Cartel or the Cantonsville Cartel, but it is the Catonsville Cartel from Catonsville, Maryland. So my apologies there, John. His wife pointed out that I was mispronouncing the name, so I apologize for that. So big win by the Cartel, 155-124 over the Vikings, handing them their first loss of the year. So that coupled with the Slim Aussies loss, the Catonsville Cartel now take over the lead in the Mish division. They already had the league point total, the league high in points last week. They extended that this week. Like I said, coupled with the Aussies' loss, take the lead in the division. Vikings are still leading the MASH division with a 5-1 record, but the third and long is right on their tails. So, quick look at the box score of the Cartel and the Vikings. Cartel did a great job managing the bye week. Had a lot of players on the bye week. Filled out a lineup, had a nice steady lineup, only one skill position player not with double digits, so a really respectable 155 points. The Vikings did okay as well, but not quite as good, obviously, only scoring 124 points. So big win for the Cartel. They're taking the lead in the MASH division. Sorry, the Mish division, tied with the Slim Aussies record-wise, but in the lead with total points. Other games of note here, we have the Hartford Whalers keeping the Idaho Dark Taters in the winless column. Nice steady 144 points for the Whalers to get their record to 3-3. They're hanging tough in the Mish division. Dark Taters did get 100 points, but once again struggling to score. Alex Smith, obviously, in real life won the game, but only 6 fantasy points. 17 points from Jacoby Jones on the bench wouldn't have made too much of a difference, so I can't really fault you too much for that. And the Whalers, like I said, nice steady points. Point total, Tom Brady with 18, Cam Newton. Michael Turner finally had a big game. That's huge because I have him in my other fantasy football league, and he's been doing nothing all year. So he finally has a good week there with 27 points. So nice win for the Hartford Whalers, keeping pace in the Mish division. Let's mention the Slim Aussies, a rematch of last year's championship game. Once again, third and Oolong gets the better of the Slim Aussies, scoring a league high 185 points, and that's with a -3 from Rex Grossman. So how do you like that? Nice rebound game from Josh Freeman with 24 points. Ray Rice, Ahmad Bradshaw was huge. I think he had 3 touchdowns. Fred Jackson had a huge day. So that giant Bills game was real big for her. For Doreen, she got 63 points between Bradshaw and Jackson. So nice high scoring game there. Let me shut off my phone that's ringing. Nothing is more important than fantasy football, so I'm not going to get that phone call. I'm going to keep going with the blog here. And the Slim Aussies had a decent day. The big thing was the bye week situation with the quarterbacks. I knew going into the season when I drafted Phillip Rivers and Kevin Cobb that they were both on a bye week 6. I knew I was going to be in trouble. I did start Colt McCoy, but there was literally not a single other starting quarterback on the waiver wire that I could pick up. So I had no choice. I had to start Phillip Rivers, who of course was on a bye. Don't think it would have made much of a difference. A nice, 59-point win for third and Oolong, but so it's one of those things where I pretty much knew week 6 was going to be tough for me anyway, so I'm not bummed too bad. I did pick up Carson Palmer going forward, so that may be, depending on if he actually plays well or not, That'll be interesting to see because nobody really seems to know what he's going to do with the Raiders. Half the pundits think he's going to pick up where just pick up where Jason Campbell left off and have a great run, and other people think, well, he was terrible the last couple of years with the Bengals, and what's to say he's going to be good with the Raiders. So that'll be interesting to see. I did pick him up for future weeks, but obviously only having one quarterback didn't help. But third and long had a nice 185-point day, even with, again, Rex Grossman's minus 3 points. That's pretty unbelievable that she scored the league high. So nice win there. She keeps pace with the Vikings. Actually picks up a game on the Vikings in the MASH division with the win. Other games, we have 2 other games. The up and down Ray Finkel's Kicking Academy get back to the 500 mark with a win over the Travelers. Travelers, again, having a tough season, scored a nice, respectable 117 points. Looks like Larry Fitzgerald on a bye. Really just having trouble scoring this year, the Travelers are. So only got 117 points. And Ray Finkel got a respectable 134 points to get the win and get to 500 mark. The only other game of note is You Got Beat by a Girl. Keeps pace with the Cartel and the Slim Aussies in the Mish division at 4-2. Scored a really nice 130 points. I'm noticing all the point totals are down somewhat. That's probably because of the buys. And there just wasn't that many touchdowns in the league last week. So that's affecting everybody across the board. But she did get 130 points, which in some weeks is not that much, but in this week was a lot. Looks like she had a steady point total, double digits for most of her skill players. I do want to point out, Toy Soldiers had a lot of guys on their buys starting, and did have guys on the bench that did play. So wouldn't have made a difference in this case, but again, for the integrity of the league, bye weeks or not, whether your team's in last place or not, you at least got to fill out a lineup of people that you expect to start. Obviously, nobody expects anybody in last place to pour over the waiver wire week after week. But you at least got to put in a starting team. At least work with what you got. Put your guys in. No excuse for having Sean Green, Mike Williams, Donald Driver on your bench with 1, 2, 3, 4 starters on bye weeks. So please make a note of that. Toy Soldiers, obviously 78 points, not going to do you any good there. So that's it. Interesting week with the Vikings losing, the Cartel taking control of the Mish division. You Got Beat by a Girl and the Whalers keeping pace in the Mish division. Third and Oolong, and also Ray Finkel's Kicking Academy keeping pace in the MASH division. So hit the 8-minute mark, so it's time to sign off here. Let's take a quick look at this coming week. For a quick preview, we have the Slim Aussies against the Toy Soldiers. Just looking at any big matchups. I guess the biggest matchup would be the Vikings and the Whalers. Vikings try to avoid a second loss in a row, and the Whalers trying to get above 500. So should be an interesting week. Still a couple more weeks of buys left, so hang in there, get your starting players in, and good luck this weekend. I'll see you guys next week.